And so after lunch and learn, you will literally be watching me eat lunch, and we will be learning about BDSM. Hey everyone, so this is a little delayed, but that's okay. It kind of goes with the theme for today, which is like, what do you do like when you've set up a, a scene, you've negotiated, and then you show up and you're having a crappy day. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of having a crappy day. I had a appointment, a video call that was scheduled for yesterday, but crack ass early in the morning. The sun wasn't even up yet, but I showed up because that's what you do, right? And then the person didn't show up. They said, "No, I'm so sorry," profusely apologized. Then let's schedule it for tomorrow, which was today. So I show up butt ass crack early in the morning, still a no show. So, well, one, not doing that again. Two, it's just kind of just is very draining and doesn't set you up for success for the day. That's why my lighting is a little off. I'm like, whatever. I'm already having issues trying to figure out this live Facebook thing. I'm not going to add to it. Um, this is my lunch. This is my favorite thing to drink when I need caffeine, when I'm struggle bussing. So I almost didn't do this because between having the technical issues and then there wasn't a Facebook Live, like, what am I, like, should I even do this? It'll be fine. But what I discovered about this series that I love is I just kind of talk to you about, being a 24/7 Dom. And I realized it's not just about being 24/7 within a dynamic with someone. It's about if you just feel like it's a part of your identity or you want it to become part of your identity. Like, what does that look like? And if you're going to be playing a lot and you have your real life, there are going to be times when you've negotiated play and guess what? You're having a bad day, or maybe your play partner is having a bad day. So what do you do? So today's topic is, what do you do when you're supposed to be playing and you're having a bad day? So that brings us to our first point. So even if you've been, messaging back and forth through like FetLife or text messages, your phone calls, you're keeping in contact, and you've been really excited, and you have the scene planned out, you know exactly what's going to happen, but then the day comes and holy shit, something happens before that scene that just rocks your world, and you're just bummed and you're exhausted, or whatever level that you may be at that day. What do you do? So that's why whenever I start a scene, even if it's been pre negotiated, have a conversation first. Have another negotiation. This is humanistic BDSM. We love to talk, negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. And this is definitely true for this. I whenever I do that first, like, meeting at a dungeon, at someone's home, or in a hotel, whatever your venue may be, have that face-to-face conversation. Like, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling right now? Because you might have texted them that this morning, like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you, can't wait to play with you," but then something happened between the time of that exchange and you being in person with them. So it's okay to communicate. Hopefully, you and your play partner see each other as real people with real challenges, with um, real disappointments. So it can be something as like, I'm having a bad day. I hurt myself. I tripped and fell. Um, like, if you know that someone has maybe a chronic illness, some days are better than others. I have been in that situation where um, our negotiation kind of rested on how would they feel that moment whenever we got to actually play. So, and this applies to both top and bottoms and doms and subs. And I think what makes it difficult is that we always have this idea of wanting to keep our word and not wanting to disappoint people. But what I would like to offer as a counterpoint is, doesn't it suck when you find out someone that you care about, you admire, you whose company you enjoy, that they kind of felt like they got forced to be in a situation that they didn't want to be? You wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to be A, in that position, and B, you wouldn't want to be the person who's putting someone in that position. So by keeping that information to yourself, you are not giving your play partner all the opportunities to say no, to be ethical, and to take care of themselves. So I think that's what today's is to talk about, is you just being honest about where you are at and communicating that honestly, just like I am with you. I have definitely um, been in that situation where I was the dom, I was the top, and I really just wasn't feeling it. Um, so there's obviously several avenues that you can go with. You could try to, you know, just cancel it. You could try to just do it anyway, or, kind of, or a third option in between is kind of a little bit, try a little bit, like kind of fake it till you make it type in between and see if you enjoy it, which is different from like, well, let's just pretend it doesn't happen. That's the second one. So you have to really decide, and for you, and then have that communicate with your partner which avenue you're both going to pursue. Um, so a story, personal story, is I had negotiated a play with someone, and again, just bummer, on my way there, something happened, and I just was not, in the headspace, and I was just very upset and agitated. And the way that I like to play is that my sadism is a gift that I share. Um, so that it's, for me, it's a joyful experience. I love to laugh. If like, I know many of you in this group have seen me play. I love to laugh during scenes. Um, but if I'm coming from a place of like frustration and anger, I don't feel as emotionally and mentally in control. And I feel that for me personally is a dangerous place to be in when I'm going to be the top. Um, so I just had an honest conversation with the person I negotiated with, like, this is what's going on. And I decided to do the middle road. That's generally what I try to do. Especially if this is a dungeon, like I traveled there, they traveled there, and I don't know when I'm probably gonna be at least a week till I play again. I'm like, I want to make the most of this. Like fuck that person, that messed up my day. So I chose the middle ground that day of kind of, fake it till you make it, and I had them hit themselves for my entertainment until I was ready to take over. And it ended up being a really, really fun scene and very enjoyable. That became quite brutal because, like, now I'm in a good mood. Like, seeing people get hurt just makes me happy. That's just how it is. So, I actually haven't had that experience, to be honest, on the flip side. I think mostly just because I'm Domina Chase, it's statistically most likely that I'm going to be the top, I'm going to be the dom. I didn't even introduce myself at the top of this video. Whatever, you know who I am. Um, um, I think it's not that I don't have bad days when I'm bottoming. I think that it's it's still so rare that they just haven't crossed paths yet. Um, but you also, but I have had that experience though, where someone's like, I'm not feeling as well. It was for them at that point, they did have an ongoing chronic illness, and it was not a good day for them. So I met them where they're at. Like, what do you still want to play? Yes, they still wanted to play. Like, what types of play can we do? Like, what is like within that broad spectrum of things that had been negotiated, and their body really couldn't take it. So we just kind of we like leaned into the erotic humiliation. Um, um, and I think that's what's really useful, and why I encourage people to try out new kinks and modalities, is that you become more flexible. You find out different forms of play that you like, find different ways of connecting with one another. Because I feel that's ultimately what scenes are about, is connecting with someone, um, but in our own unique BDSM way. So yeah, that's I think this is why I really encourage everyone, have those really great negotiations. And because in that negotiation, you will be able to foster trust in one another, and to be able to say, like, hey, I'm having a bum day. Even if you're a stranger. I mean, that happens. um, because then you get to know a lot more about each other, and the way that you think, and build empathy and sympathy for one another, which are, you know, when you're looking from the outside in to BDSM, it seems like surprising words, but that is something I feel that kinksters, ethical kinksters, I should say, have in common, is that they want to be empathetic and sympathetic to who they're playing with. And that definitely extends to having a bad day. So, the homework, I guess, for today is, kind of think back through a time when um, you you went to an event or something like vanilla, where you're just having not a good time, and you just kind of went with it, or you just didn't go with it. Because the reason why I'm asking you to dig back into your vanilla life is that that is probably a good blueprint for how you should proceed in your BDSM life. Well, okay, sorry, with the caveat that it worked for you in your vanilla life. Okay, so question is like personal, like ask my sub that I'm not feeling it, and normally just end up having a chill afternoon, more of a gentle tending session. And that's totally fine. That could be that's definitely a form of play. Um, you just tell your partner, like, you're gonna just be a snuggle slut. You're not gonna say anything. You're not gonna move. You're just gonna get snuggles, and you're gonna get petted, and you're gonna get kissed, and you're gonna get, I don't, massage. Like, you're gonna drink this fucking hot tea that I made for you at the right temperature. Um, yeah, that's totally a great idea. That's why you need to communicate that. But then, um, you might find a new type of kink that you really enjoy, because again, there's this misconception that kink has to be so active and so showy. And I feel a bit of a hypocrite saying that, because my scenes are kind of like showy, but that's me. That's all right with the grammar. um, that's why sometimes when you just lean into these experiences, it becomes very formative. Um, I'm sure I'm not alone that sometimes when you go through these chaotic, not, I want to say scenes, but these chaotic times when something just doesn't go right, and then you and that person like overcome it, or well, it overcomes you, and but it happened to you together. It can actually form a new bond, and it's just a different experience. It might not be the experience that you had planned on or negotiated, but the fact remains is that you had an experience together. Well, okay, that's actually ended up being a lot longer. than I had planned it to be. Remember at the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Um, but I just kind of like, you know what, I'll just do a little bit, talk about 5, 6 minutes, and now at 15 minutes. Um, yeah, that happens to be me, where I'm one of those people where if I know that if I just try it a little bit, it'll be okay. Usually it won't be the same, but it'll still be fun. So, you know, do that homework, explore, you know, maybe next time, try a little bit, you know. It can be saying, let's just do this one activity, or let's try for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. It's definitely okay for you to make yourself new boundaries and renegotiate before the scene, um, what's going to happen, you know. Say, like, I gave myself 5 minutes, honestly. Try it for 5 minutes, set a timer, and if you really like it, keep going. And it could be every 5 minutes, um, so that you know that there's a stopping point, a point for you to check in with yourself and how you do that. Well, all right. So that's it for me today. I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments. Yeah, as I really would like to hear comments because I've never talked about this before. So that's it for me this week. Bye, everyone. Be safe. Bye.